I stepped into the Valentine's party, expecting nothing more than the usual noise and cheap decorations. But the second I saw Emma laughing with Ryan across the room, something inside me cracked. My chest tightened. I felt like I'd been punched. "Alex, you made it." Jake waved from the corner, his grin nervous. I forced a smile. "Yeah, I'm here," I muttered, not taking my eyes off Emma. "You okay, man? You look—" he hesitated. "Off." "I'm fine," I said, though my voice felt hollow. I wasn't fine. Not with her holding his hand like I'd never existed. Jake frowned. "You sure? She's with Ryan now." I clenched my fist. "I see that." I walked over, trying to keep my face neutral. "Emma," I said, my voice tighter than I wanted. She turned, smiling at me like nothing had happened. "Alex, you came. I didn't think you would." Her smile was bright, effortless. But her hand still lingered on Ryan's arm. "Yeah, I came. I wanted to talk." "Oh, okay. About what?" "About you, about us." I swallowed the lump in my throat. "Emma, She cut me off, a little impatient. "Alex, can we not do this tonight? I mean, I'm happy with Ryan. I'm sorry if—" "You're happy with him?" My voice cracked. I hated how weak it sounded. "After everything, after all those times we were together?" "We were friends, Alex," she said softly. I never promised." I laughed bitterly. "Friends? We were more than friends. Don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to me." Ryan stepped forward, trying to smile reassuringly. "Hey man, maybe this isn't the—" "Don't you dare, Ryan." I snapped, anger flashing. "You knew how I felt. You knew. And you still—" my voice faltered, but I kept going. "You still went for her. Took her from me." Emma's eyes flickered. "Alex, please. It's not like that. You can't force someone to—" "Force? I wouldn't force you." I stepped closer, my chest burning. "But you didn't even think about me. About how I feel. Not once." Silence fell. The music thumped awkwardly in the background, but I barely noticed. My heart was hammering in my ears. I'm sorry, Alex," Emma whispered. Her voice sounded sincere, but it didn't reach me. "Sorry doesn't fix this." I turned away. The room blurred. "I need air." Jake appeared beside me. "Dude, come on. Let's step outside." I followed him without a word. Once outside, the cold night hit me, but it did nothing to numb the fire inside. "She hurt you bad," Jake said quietly. "Bad doesn't even cover it," I muttered. I watched her, laughing at my face with him. Every word, every smile, it's like they were mocking me. Jake put a hand on my shoulder. "Alex, you're letting this ruin you. You've got more than this, more than her. You just don't see it yet." "I don't want to see it yet," I admitted. "I want her to know, to feel what it's like to throw someone away who cares about her. But I can't, not now." "You will," Jake said. "Just not like this. Not angry and broken. You're smarter than that. You'll build something they'll never forget." "I know it." I shook my head. "I feel empty. Used. Humiliated." "You're not empty. You're pissed, yeah. But that fire, use it. Don't let her ruin you. Not anymore." "I thought love was supposed to be simple," I said bitterly. "I thought loyalty mattered. I thought she was different." "She's not," Jake said gently. "And Ryan, well, he's the kind of guy who doesn't see the value in what he has until he loses it. You're better than that, Alex. Way better." I looked up at the night sky, my hands trembling. "Better? Yeah. I'll be better. I'll make sure of it." "You're going to," Jake said. "I'll help if you let me. But first, you need to stop looking back." "I can't stop looking back," I admitted. "Not tonight. Not yet. But I can promise something. I won't let anyone disrespect me like this again. Not her, not him, nobody." Jake smirked. "That's the Alex I know. You've got fire in you, man. Just wait. One day they'll see who they threw away." I clenched my fists, the ache in my chest twisting into determination. "One day," I whispered. "They'll see. One day they'll regret everything." Jake nodded. "That's the start, my friend. Let's start planning that day." I felt a strange calm settle over me, the first real clarity I'd had all night. Betrayal had cut deep, but it also lit something inside me, a fire I wouldn't let die. And in that cold night, under the dim streetlight, I silently vowed, I will rise. I will succeed. And the world will remember my name. I woke up the next morning feeling heavier than ever. My head throbbed, my stomach churned, and every thought somehow led back to Emma and Ryan. I groaned and shoved my pillow over my face. Why does this still hurt? I muttered. Jake's voice echoed in my head. Use the fire, Alex. Build something. I pulled myself up anyway, even though I wanted to crawl back into the sheets. I had to do something. Anything. At the small company where I'd started part-time, the air smelled of coffee and printer ink. Mr. Reynolds, our manager, looked up from his desk, frowning. Alex, you're late again. I know. I'm sorry, I mumbled, sliding into my chair. Sorry doesn't cut it. Pick up the pace, he said, tapping a stack of papers. Yes, sir, I replied, my jaw tight. A cheerful voice broke the tension. First day back on full focus? I glanced up. A girl with short brown hair and bright eyes smiled at me. Yeah. Something like that, I said, trying to hide how lost I felt. I'm Lisa, she said, extending her hand. I'll be working with you on the Henderson account. I shook her hand. Alex, nice to meet you. Lisa laughed softly. Don't be so stiff. We're teammates, not enemies. I nodded, trying to smile, but it felt fake. Right. Teamwork. She leaned over my desk, pointing at the spreadsheet. You've got to adjust these numbers. Look here, see? If you factor in the marketing expenses, the projection changes. I frowned. Oh, yeah. I see it now. Thanks. No problem, she said. You'll get it. Just takes practice. I was struck by how easy she made it feel, like she believed in me before I even believed in myself. Later, Mr. Reynolds called me into his office. Alex, I need you on the Thompson project. Big client. High stakes. My heart skipped a beat. Yes, sir. I'll do my best. Your best better be enough. I don't tolerate mistakes. I understand, I said. As I left, Lisa caught up with me. Thompson project? That's huge. You're getting noticed already. I hope I don't mess it up, I admitted. Then don't think about messing it up. Focus on learning. You'll be fine. Her confidence was infectious. I realized I hadn't smiled properly in days, yet here she was, making it feel natural again. Back at my desk, I tried to focus, but memories of Emma kept creeping in. I clenched my fists under the table. Stop. Not now. You're better than this. Lisa noticed. You okay? She asked softly. Yeah. Just thinking. She tilted her head. About her? I flinched. Yeah, it's hard to shake. Alex, she said, her voice firm but gentle. You can't control what happened. You can only control what you do now. Her words hit me harder than I expected. She was right. I could sulk, drown in self-pity, or I could do something. Anything. The next few days were a blur of spreadsheets, emails, and client calls. Lisa was always there, patient, explaining things, pushing me to think critically. One afternoon, I admitted, I feel like I'm never going to catch up. You're already ahead, she said. You just don't see it yet. I've seen people with your drive. You'll get there. Trust yourself. I nodded, feeling a small spark of hope I hadn't felt in months. During lunch, Jake called. How's my favorite almost rebuilt man doing? Better, I said. I think I'm starting to focus. I met a coworker, Lisa. She's smart and she doesn't treat me like a fool. Jake laughed. Good. You need that. People like her, they'll remind you that life isn't all heartbreak. I know. I hesitated. It's still hard. Emma, Ryan, they're in my head. Let them fade, Jake said. Your head, your rules. Not theirs. I smiled faintly. Yeah. I need to learn that. Back at the office, Lisa nudged me. Don't overthink. You're making progress. You're actually getting good at this. Thanks, I said, surprised at how much I appreciated her encouragement. You'll do even better tomorrow, she said. You'll see. I felt a strange warmth, a feeling I hadn't had since before. It wasn't love yet, but it was hope, and hope was enough for now. By the end of the week, Mr. Reynolds pulled me aside again. Alex, good work. You're catching on fast. Keep this pace and there might be more opportunities. I nodded, swallowing my pride. Thank you, sir. I won't let you down. Lisa smiled from across the room, giving me a subtle thumbs up. I returned it, feeling a small surge of pride. Walking home that evening, I replayed the week in my head. I had survived the heartbreak, focused on work, and met someone who made the day brighter. It wasn't everything, but it was a start. I texted Jake. I think I can do this. For the first time in weeks, I feel something like hope. His reply came instantly. I knew you would. Keep going, Alex. This is just the beginning. I stared at the message, the corners of my mouth turning upward for the first time in months. Maybe he was right. Maybe I could pick up the pieces, rebuild myself, and finally leave the past behind. And maybe, just maybe, life had a few surprises waiting for me too. I arrived at the office Monday morning with a sense of purpose I hadn't felt in months. The heartbreak still lingered, but it no longer paralyzed me. Instead, it fueled me. I was done sitting in the shadows. "Morning, Alex," Lisa greeted, holding a coffee cup like it was a peace offering. "Morning," I said, trying to sound casual. "Ready for the chaos today?" She laughed. "Chaos is our specialty. Ready or not, the Henderson project is growing and you're in the thick of it." I rubbed my temples. "Yeah. I think I can handle it." "Think? You know you can." Her confidence in me was contagious. I decided then that I wouldn't just do the work, I would own it. Mr. Reynolds appeared from his office, eyebrows raised. "Alex, can I see you in my office?" I followed him, my stomach tight. "Yes, sir?" "You've shown initiative on the Thompson project. I want you to lead the brainstorming for Henderson." "Lead?" I asked, surprised. "Yes. You have ideas. Use them. Present's something the client can't ignore." I swallowed hard. I won't let you down." "You better not." Dismissed. Back at my desk, Lisa leaned over. "Did he just?" "Yeah. Lead Henderson." I laughed, half in disbelief. "I guess I'm officially responsible." "You're going to crush it," she said, eyes sparkling. "I hope so. I don't want to mess it up." "Then don't think about messing it up. Think about impressing." "I'll help." Her offer meant more than she realized. "Thanks, Lisa. I appreciate that." We spent hours going over charts and strategies. She challenged my ideas, pointed out flaws, and forced me to defend my choices. Every correction made me sharper, more confident. "You're thinking too small," she said at one point, crossing her arms. "If we pitch timid, they'll ignore us. Be bold, Alex." I see what you mean," I admitted. "You have the vision. Don't waste it on doubt." Her words hit me harder than any pep talk I'd had from Jake. Bold. That's what I needed. Bold would get me far. Later, during a short break, I called Emily. "Hey Em, got a minute?" "Sure, what's up?" Her voice was cheerful, a comfort in the middle of chaos. I'm leading Henderson brainstorming. I'm nervous, but..." "You're Alex. You'll figure it out. You always do." "I'm trying," I said. "Trying to stop looking back." "That's all any of us can do," she said. "Just don't forget to breathe." I smiled. "Thanks, Emily. I needed that." Back at work, Ryan's name popped into my head, unbidden. I clenched my fist under the desk. I didn't want to think about him. I didn't want to gloat. Emma and he could stumble all they wanted. I had my path. "Alex, what's up? You look distant," Lisa asked. "Just thinking about strategies," I lied. "Nothing else." "Aha," she said, clearly unconvinced. "Keep that fire though. You're improving." I nodded, feeling the spark inside me grow. Fire. Ambition. Determination. I could feel it heating every decision, every word I spoke. By mid-afternoon, we had a solid plan for Henderson. Lisa and I presented our ideas to Mr. Reynolds, who listened silently, then leaned back. "Impressive," he said finally. "You're thinking ahead. This could work. Just make sure the team follows through." I exhaled. "Thank you, sir. I'll ensure it." "You're on the right track, Alex. Keep it up." After the meeting, Lisa clapped me lightly on the shoulder. "See? Told you." "Yeah. I guess you did," I said, trying to hide my grin. Walking home that evening, I felt different. There was no bitterness in my step. No pain pulling me back. Just a growing sense of control over my life, my choices, my future. At the corner cafe, I paused and pulled out my phone. Social media alerted me to Emma and Ryan's latest post. Her smiling, his arm around her. But something was off. I noticed subtle tension, her smile not reaching her eyes. I didn't feel the urge to gloat. Instead, I felt detached. I shook my head. "Not my concern," I muttered. "I have my own path." Lisa texted me, "Great job today. Keep pushing. You're unstoppable." I typed back quickly, "Thanks. Couldn't have done it without you." Her reply, "Teamwork, Alex. Always." I chuckled. She didn't know it, but she'd become more than a coworker. She was a reminder that life could surprise me, that trust and encouragement could come from new places. When I got home, Emily was waiting in the living room with her laptop. "So, how was the big day?" she asked, eyes curious. "Surprisingly good," I said. "I feel like I might actually be moving forward." "That's what I wanted to hear," she said, smiling. "Just don't burn out. You're already impressive without pushing yourself to the limit." "I know, Em. I'll pace myself." I said, though I knew pacing wasn't my style anymore. I wanted to rise, fast and unapologetically. That night, lying in bed, I couldn't stop thinking about possibilities. Henderson was just the beginning. I imagined myself leading bigger projects, building a career that demanded respect, a life where no one could undermine me. No Emma. No Ryan. Just me, my ambition, and maybe, someday, someone like Lisa by my side. I whispered to the darkness, this is just the start. One day, they'll all see who I've become. And for the first time in months, I didn't feel small. I felt unstoppable. When Mr. Reynolds called me into his office that morning, I wasn't sure what to expect. My heart raced, not from nerves but anticipation. Alex, he said, eyes sharp, you've done well on the Henderson project. I'm promoting you to lead the Branson account. It's high profile. Big risk, big reward. I blinked. Lead me? Really? Yes. I trust you. Don't disappoint me. I won't, sir. I promise. He nodded and dismissed me, and for a moment I just stood there, staring at the office door. Led, a critical project, my own decisions could make or break this. And I was ready. Back at my desk, Lisa leaned over. Branson account? That's huge. Congratulations, Alex. Thanks, I said, still trying to process it. I didn't expect it so soon. You earned it. You're ready, she said, eyes gleaming. I felt that familiar spark. Power, control, momentum. Yeah, I think I am. Claire Benson appeared, clipboard in hand, her smile polite but sharp. Congratulations, Alex. I guess someone finally noticed your work. Thanks, Claire, I said evenly. Just, don't let it get to your head, she added, voice soft but full of subtle challenge. I'll keep that in mind, I said, fighting the urge to roll my eyes. Lisa leaned closer after Claire walked away. Ignore her. Some people can't handle someone else rising. I know, I muttered. It's just annoying. The day went by in a blur. I was in meetings, drafting strategies, coordinating teams. Every decision, every call, every suggestion carried weight. I felt a thrill in knowing that I controlled outcomes now, that my work mattered. During lunch my phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. Alex, I need your advice. It's urgent. Emma. I froze. My chest tightened. Part of me wanted to delete it immediately, to ignore her, but another part, the part that used to care, hesitated. I typed cautiously. What's the problem? Her reply was almost immediate. Ryan, he's made a mess of things. I don't know what to do. You always knew how to handle stuff. I stared at the screen. My old instincts screamed to jump in, to help, to fix. But I clenched my jaw and typed. I'm sorry, Emma. I can't get involved. You need to handle your own mistakes. Her reply came slower this time. I understand. Thank you anyway. I put the phone down and exhaled. Relief, pride, and a touch of satisfaction mingled inside me. I had resisted the old pull. I was in control now. Lisa plopped down across from me. Everything okay? Yeah, I said, forcing casualness. Just messages. You look tense. She leaned forward, voice soft. Talk to me. You can. I shook my head. I'm fine. Just focusing on Branson. Her eyes sparkled, a teasing hint in them. Good. Focused Alex is pretty impressive. I felt my cheeks heat but kept my composure. Thanks. We returned to work and I felt a subtle shift. Lisa's support wasn't just professional, it was personal, warm. But I couldn't afford distraction. Not now. Over the next few days I organized teams, led meetings and implemented my strategies. Branson was challenging, but each decision I made reinforced my confidence. People were starting to look to me for answers. It felt intoxicating. One afternoon, Claire approached again, leaning against my desk. Alex, can I see the Henderson numbers? I want to double-check a few projections. Sure, I said, handing them over. She scanned them quickly. Impressive. I didn't expect this level of detail from you. I smiled slightly. Thanks. I like to stay thorough. She paused, her eyes sharp. Don't get too comfortable. High-profile clients can change fast. One mistake and... I know, I interrupted, calm but firm. I'll handle it. She raised an eyebrow and walked away. I exhaled, glancing at Lisa, who winked. You're handling the pressure well, she whispered. Feels different this time, I admitted. Like I'm actually in control. You are, she said. You've earned this. Later that week, Emma's name appeared again in my thoughts. I caught a glimpse of her on social media, looking frustrated, Ryan's arm around her, but tension visible in her eyes. A small part of me wanted to gloat, to remind myself I was above it. But I didn't. I reminded myself, focus, Branson, momentum, power. At the office party that Friday, Lisa leaned close as I held a glass of water. "You've changed," she said softly. "I have," I admitted. "Oh, I'm starting to feel like I can actually control my life now." She smiled. "And you're good at it. Don't let anyone make you doubt that." "I won't," I said, thinking of Emma, of Ryan, of Claire, of every person who underestimated me. I felt something swell inside, pride, determination, and something dangerous, ambition. When I got home that night, I called Emily. Today was intense, but I feel like I'm finally getting the hang of it." "I knew you would," she said warmly. "You've always had it in you. Don't let anyone take that away." "I won't," I said. As I hung up, I glanced at the city lights outside my window. Control, power, independence. The thrill of shaping my own path pulsed in my veins. I wasn't just surviving anymore, I was rising. And in that quiet moment, I realized something crucial. The world was starting to notice me. And this was only the beginning. I didn't expect to hear from her. Not after everything. But that morning, my phone buzzed with a message I couldn't ignore. "Alex, I need your help. It's urgent. Emma." I froze, staring at the screen. Part of me wanted to delete it immediately, toss my phone across the room, and pretend I never saw it. But another part, a part one thought had died, hesitated. I typed slowly, "What happened?" "Ryan, he's ruined everything. The accounts, the payments. I don't know what to do. You always knew how to handle stuff." I felt my chest tighten, a mix of anger, disbelief, and something like satisfaction. Karma was starting its course, and it was delicious to watch from afar. I stared at the message, imagining her panic, imagining Ryan's smug grin fading. I wanted to respond with advice, to rush in and fix it like old times, but I didn't. Instead, I typed, "Emma, you need to deal with this yourself. I can't intervene." Her reply was slower this time. I understand. Thank you anyway." I put my phone down and exhaled, letting the tension drain from my shoulders. Part of me wanted to check in constantly to ensure she survived this, but I reminded myself, she had choices just like I did. Lisa appeared behind me, noticing the phone on my desk. "Everything okay?" she asked, voice gentle. Yeah, I muttered. "Just a message from someone from the past." She raised an eyebrow. "Emma?" I stiffened slightly but nodded. "Yeah, she's in trouble. And you're not going to help?" Her voice was curious but calm, not accusatory. "I can't," I said firmly. "Not this time. She made her choices. I made mine." Lisa nodded slowly, as if she understood exactly what I was feeling. "Alex, it's hard to watch someone you cared about suffer, I know. But sometimes stepping back is the strongest choice you can make." I ran a hand through my hair. "It feels wrong though. Part of me wants to fix it. I used to be the guy who ran to her side no matter what." "Not anymore," Lisa said softly. "You've changed. You're not that boy anymore." I looked at her, and for the first time in a while, I realized how grounded she kept me. Her presence reminded me of my priorities, my career, my growth, my future. And as tempting as it was to step into the past, I couldn't. "Thank you," I whispered, "for reminding me who I am." She smiled, a small, knowing smile. "Always, Alex. You just have to remember it yourself sometimes." I exhaled, the fire in me growing hotter, clearer. I turned back to the Branson account files, focusing on spreadsheets, charts, and projections. Each decision I made reinforced the control I was gaining over my life. The rush of authority, the knowledge that my ideas mattered, was intoxicating. My phone buzzed again. Another message from Emma. "Alex, please? I don't know who else to turn to." I stared at it, a pang of old instinct surfacing. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. I could respond. I could save her. But I didn't. Lisa noticed my hesitation. "Alex." I looked up at her, conflicted. "She's reaching out. I should ignore it, right?" "Yes," she said firmly. "You've built yourself up. Don't let old patterns drag you back." I nodded, swallowing hard. "It's just, part of me wants to jump in." "Part of you is the old Alex," she said. "The Alex who got hurt. The Alex who cared too much. But look at who you are now. You're in control. You don't need to save her to prove anything." Her words cut through the confusion like a knife, sharp and precise. I realized she was right. I didn't need to rescue her. I didn't need to prove my worth by fixing someone else's mess. My worth was mine, earned through action and determination, not pity or attachment. The rest of the day blurred as I focused on work, ignoring my phone, ignoring the temptation to peek at her progress. The Branson team noticed my intensity. My decisions were faster, more confident. Lisa stayed close, offering advice, challenging my choices, keeping me sharp. "You're doing amazing," she said during a quick break. "The way you're handling this project, it's impressive." "Thanks," I said, feeling a rare warmth. "I've been learning to trust myself more." "And it shows," she said. "You're not the same guy anymore. People notice." I nodded, a small smile tugging at my lips. "Yeah, I can feel it too." That evening, I finally glanced at Emma's messages again. They were polite, anxious, slightly pleading. But I didn't respond. Not a single word. Instead, I closed the chat and put my phone away. Lisa noticed. "You're doing the right thing," she said quietly. "I know," I said. "It just hurts a little knowing she's struggling. But not because of me. Because of her choices." "Exactly," Lisa said. "Let karma play out. You've got your own empire to build." I leaned back in my chair, breathing slowly, feeling the weight lift off my shoulders. Betrayal had come full circle. Emma was facing consequences and I was free to focus on myself. And for the first time I realized the satisfaction wasn't in revenge, it was in control, in power, in rising above. I looked at Lisa and grinned. I think this is the first time I've actually felt unstoppable." "Good," she said, smiling. "Because you are." That night as I left the office I felt lighter, sharper, and more focused than I had in months. Emma's problems were no longer mine. Ryan's mistakes were no longer my concern. My fire burned brighter, untainted by old attachments. And somewhere deep inside I knew this was just the beginning. Karma had started its course and I was ready to rise higher than ever. When I decided to start my own company, most people thought I was crazy. Jake was supportive, but even he raised an eyebrow. "Alex, are you sure? It's risky." "I've never been more sure," I said, my voice steady. "I've learned from every mistake, every betrayal. This time I call the shots." Lisa grinned. "Finally, no limits. I'm in, by the way. If you're building something real, I want to be part of it." "You're not just in," I said, meeting her eyes. "You're my right hand. I trust you completely." Her smile widened, a mix of pride and subtle warmth that I consciously ignored. "Focus first. Everything else comes later." The first days were chaos. Finding investors, securing office space, hiring the right people. I barely slept, barely ate. But every obstacle felt like fuel. Every no pushed me harder. Marcus Lane was the first key hire. He strode into my small office with confidence, shaking my hand firmly. "Alex, I hear you mean business. I want in." "I like ambition," I said, nodding. "I need people who push boundaries, who don't settle for average." "I don't settle," Marcus said with a grin. "And I don't follow, except when I respect the lead." "Good," I said. "You'll respect me soon enough." Sophia Kim handled HR with precision. "Alex, I need clear policies, a structure that holds as you grow," she said, sliding a folder across the desk. "I trust your judgment," I said. "Hire smart, fire toxic, and make sure loyalty counts." She nodded approvingly. "Understood. Your team will reflect your vision." Lisa sat next to me as we went through contracts and projections. "Alex, look at these numbers. If we push this strategy, we'll triple our growth by next quarter." I studied the figures. "We will. And I want it higher. I want dominance, not just growth." She raised an eyebrow. "Dominance? You've gone full Alex Carter now." I laughed softly. Better full Alex than the Alex who let people walk over him. Weeks turned into months. Our small company grew faster than expected. Investors noticed, clients lined up, and our reputation skyrocketed. I felt the thrill of control, of power, the kind that comes from building something from the ground up with your own hands. One afternoon, Lisa nudged me. "Alex, you've changed." "Completely." I barely recognized the boy who sulked over Emma. I smirked. "I've had practice. Pain teaches lessons others never learn. I've learned to take control instead of letting life control me." She tilted her head, studying me. "And you're good at it. Terrifyingly good." I laughed, but inside I felt a quiet pride. Every decision, every hire, every contract was a piece of my empire. And it was mine, untouchable, unstoppable. Marcus leaned against my desk one morning. "Alex, team's following your lead like you imagined. No one questions you and productivity's through the roof." I expected nothing less, I said, flipping through projections. "We're not just building a company, we're building a legacy." Marcus grinned. "I'm glad to be part of it." Inspiring Alex. I glanced at Lisa, who was quietly organizing schedules. I couldn't do it without her, I admitted. She keeps me grounded, keeps the vision clear. She looked up, smiling briefly, then returned to her work. Focus first. Always. Occasionally, I saw glimpses of Emma's unraveling life. Social media posts showed her stressed, arguments with Ryan, hints of financial trouble. I didn't gloat openly, but a part of me, quiet, satisfied, felt karma was finally balancing the scales. One evening, Marcus and I were reviewing growth projections. Alex, you're not just rich. You're respected. People listen. They follow. That's the goal, I said. Not just money. Power. Influence. Independence. Freedom. Lisa came by with a fresh stack of client proposals. We've got another potential big client. If we close this, our revenue doubles next quarter. I nodded. We close it. And we don't just close it, we dominate. Show them we're not just competent. We're untouchable. She smiled at my intensity and I realized she understood my hunger. But I had learned restraint. Ambition before desire. Empire before distraction. Sophia approached with HR reports. Alex, morale is high but people are looking for stability. Clear paths for advancement will keep them loyal. Agreed, I said. Reward hard work but hold everyone accountable. Loyalty is earned. Understood, she said, nodding. I leaned back in my chair that evening, looking at the office buzzing with activity. Employees typing, talking, collaborating. My empire was alive. Each of them was part of it, but none could claim it. I had built this. Lisa approached again, her eyes soft. Alex, do you ever think about the past? Sometimes, I admitted. But only to remember why I started this. To never be powerless again. To never let anyone dictate my worth. She nodded, understanding, and said, Then you've truly moved on. You're unstoppable. I felt it in my chest. The pride, the power, the satisfaction. I was no longer the boy Emma rejected. No longer the friend Ryan overshadowed. I was Alex Carter, a man who built his world on his terms. Marcus approached again, leaning casually. Alex, clients are calling you a visionary. They want to invest, follow your lead. They see your power. Good, I said. They'll get more than they expected. Lisa handed me a report. The Henderson expansion strategy worked. Revenues higher than projected. Everyone's impressed. I looked at her, a quiet smile playing on my lips. Not everyone. Just the right people. Marcus laughed. And you'll show them why. I felt the weight and thrill of it all, the empire I was building, the control I wielded, the respect I commanded. Emma and Ryan were distant memories, irrelevant compared to what I was creating. Lisa glanced at me softly. You're not just rich now. You're untouchable. And you've earned every bit of it. I nodded, feeling it in my bones. I have. And I'll keep earning it. Every day. Every decision. Every move. As the sun set over the city skyline, I realized something powerful. I wasn't just surviving anymore. I was thriving. I was feared, respected, and admired. My past no longer dictated my present. My empire was proof. And somewhere deep inside, I knew that when the final showdown came, when Emma, Ryan, and everyone else realized what they'd lost, I would be untouchable. Not just because of wealth, but because I had transformed completely. Heart, mind, and power aligned. I looked at Lisa, who smiled encouragingly, and whispered to myself, This is just the beginning. The world isn't ready for what I'm about to become. Valentine's Day had always been a nightmare for me. Last year, Emma and Ryan had paraded their happiness in front of me, and I'd spent the night swallowing my pride. This year, things were different. I wasn't the same boy anymore. I was Alex Carter, the man who built his empire, earned respect, and learned that loyalty and ambition mattered more than heartbreak. The morning started innocuously. My phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. Alex, can we talk? I made a mistake. Can we meet? Emma. I stared at it, cold satisfaction crawling up my spine. The girl who had rejected me was suddenly realizing what she lost. I typed slowly, deliberately, I'm not available. Her reply came almost instantly, Please, it's important. I need you to hear me out. I exhaled and slid the phone into my pocket. Old me might have rushed to meet her. Old me might have begged for a second chance. But not anymore. Lisa appeared behind me, raising an eyebrow. Everything okay? Emma, I said. She's reaching out again. Lisa smirked, subtle but knowing. Really? She's persistent. Classic mistake. I nodded. Yeah. But I'm not that Alex anymore. I've got my own life now. Good, Lisa said, leaning closer. And don't forget, you're not alone in this life anymore. Remember that. I looked at her and smiled faintly. I haven't forgotten. The evening's company event was lavish. Investors, clients, and partners mingled in a space decked with lights and music. I had prepared myself mentally, not for business, but for the inevitable encounter with Emma. And there she was, in all her carefully curated charm, smiling as if nothing had changed. She approached me, heels clicking confidently. Alex, it's been a long time. Can we talk? I turned slowly, smiling, and extended my hand to Lisa. Actually, Emma, I'd like you to meet someone first. Lisa stepped forward gracefully. Hi, I'm Lisa. Emma froze for a fraction of a second, the faintest flicker of recognition and shock crossing her face. I continued deliberately. Lisa's been my partner in business and in life. She's the reason I'm standing here today, not the boy you walked past. Emma's lips parted slightly. Partner? I nodded. Yes, my partner. She's been by my side through everything, and she's the one who matters now. Lisa's hand brushed mine subtly, a quiet signal of unity and strength. Emma's eyes widened, and I could see the realization hitting her. The girl who rejected me now had no place in my life. She tried to recover, her voice smooth but faltering. Alex, I didn't mean. I cut her off gently, voice calm but firm. Emma, I think you realize now. I'm not the same man who let your choices define him. I've grown, I've built something, and I've found someone who actually values me. Her face flushed, embarrassment and regret mixing in her expression. I thought. Thought what? I asked, leaning slightly closer. That I'd still wait for you? That I'd still care about your mistakes? She looked down, unable to answer. The silence said everything. Lisa squeezed my hand lightly. She doesn't get to be part of this, Alex. You've earned your life. Don't let the past interfere. I smiled at her, quietly proud. Exactly. Emma's eyes glistened, a hint of tears forming. I messed up. I see that now. Yes, I said softly. And that's your lesson. I hope you learned from it. But don't expect me to fix it. I've moved on. Her lips trembled and she turned away, disappearing into the crowd. I felt a quiet satisfaction wash over me. Karma had run its course and I had stayed above it. No gloating, no drama. Just justice served quietly, perfectly. Marcus, who had been observing from a distance, leaned over. You handled that like a pro. No theatrics. Just victory. I smirked. Sometimes the best revenge is living well. Lisa nudged me playfully. And looking good while doing it. I chuckled, feeling warmth in her presence. I'd say we're a good team. Best team, she said. Throughout the night, I moved among clients and investors, but the image of Emma's realization lingered. I didn't feel anger or longing, just clarity. She had her consequences. I had my life, my empire, my partner. And that was enough. During a quiet moment on the balcony, Lisa and I looked out over the city lights. Alex, she said softly, you've come so far. From the guy heartbroken and betrayed to the man standing here, respected, wealthy, and untouchable. And you did it without losing yourself. I exhaled, the cool night air filling my lungs. It wasn't easy. Every step felt like a battle. But I realized that focusing on myself, on building something real, was the only way forward. Lisa smiled, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. And now you're unstoppable. For yourself and for us. I nodded, feeling a quiet, deep satisfaction. Not just for the empire we'd built, but for the clarity, the control, and the strength I now possessed. A message buzzed in my pocket. It was Emma again. I glanced at it, then deleted it without reading. No distraction. No pull. She had her lesson. I had my life. Lisa leaned closer. Don't even think about it. It's her loss, not yours. I looked at her, eyes steady, heart full. I know. And it feels amazing. Later, as we re-entered the event, I introduced Lisa formally to the remaining guests. Everyone, this is Lisa Thompson. My partner both in business and in life. She's the reason our company thrives and why I'm standing here tonight. Applause followed. Lisa's smile was radiant, genuine. I felt proud, not just of my achievements but of the loyalty, trust, and love we shared. Emma's absence in that moment was a whisper of the past. She had reached out, hoping for reconciliation, hoping I'd still be the same. But I wasn't. I had evolved beyond her influence, beyond her choices. And the quiet satisfaction in that realization was sweeter than any words could convey. Later, when Jake called to check in, I told him what happened. She tried, Jake. Valentine's Day. But I didn't even flinch. I introduced Lisa. She saw clearly what she lost. Jake laughed. That's my Alex. Finally, a Valentine's you don't dread. And the best part? You didn't just survive, you dominated. I did, I said, a grin spreading across my face. And this time, it's different. This is just the beginning. Lisa squeezed my hand again. Happy Valentine's, Alex. I smiled at her truly fully. Happy Valentine's. To us. And for the first time on this day of heartbreaks and regrets, I felt nothing but power, love, and satisfaction. The past was gone. The present was mine. And the future, well, that was ours to build. I woke up that morning feeling lighter. No buzzing notifications from Emma, no lingering doubt, no pull from the past. Just me, Lisa, and the life we'd built together. I stretched and smiled, thinking about how far I'd come. Lisa appeared in the kitchen, coffee in hand, a playful grin on her face. Morning, Alex. Big day. Big day, I said, taking the cup she handed me. But nothing compared to last year. She raised an eyebrow. Ah yes. Valentine's Day 2025, the year of heartbreak and humiliation. I chuckled. Exactly. And now, different story. I actually look forward to it. Lisa smirked. That's the thing about growth. You get to enjoy the holidays you once dreaded. I took a sip of coffee, savoring the warmth. You've been my anchor, Lisa. Honestly, I don't know where I'd be without you. She leaned closer, voice soft. You'd be fine, Alex. You're strong. But we're better together, right? Better together, I agreed, feeling it in my chest. Not just partnership, but respect, trust, and love intertwined. Later in the office, things felt calm. Our company had grown beyond what I thought possible. Marcus was handling client relations like a pro, Sophia kept HR tight, and Lisa was everywhere, coordinating, supporting, challenging me to keep improving. I watched her, silently grateful, and thought, this is real. This is what matters. Marcus leaned over my desk. Alex, have you seen the latest financials? We're exceeding projections. Clients are thrilled. Investors are lining up. Good, I said. That's exactly what I wanted. He grinned. You've built an empire, Alex. And I'm not just saying that. People outside this company are noticing. I looked out the window at the skyline. I built this because I refuse to be powerless again. Every decision, every move, it's mine. And it feels incredible. Lisa appeared beside me, nudging my shoulder. And now it's time to enjoy it. Let's not forget the personal side of life, Alex. I laughed softly. Right. Balance. My phone buzzed briefly. A glance told me it was Emma. I didn't open it. Not because I was angry, but because I didn't need to. Karma had its course, and Ryan's failures were finally public. Emma was learning lessons too late, and I realized I had no desire to intervene. Lisa noticed my pause. Not opening it? No, I said firmly. I've grown past that. Let her handle her consequences. My life isn't about fixing her mistakes. She nodded approvingly. Exactly. You've earned this freedom. Later, Marcus approached with a grin. Alex, there's an investor dinner tonight. They're impressed by your leadership. They want you there with Lisa. Of course, I said, smiling. She's been instrumental. And it's time they see who really runs this show. As we walked into the event, lights sparkling, people bustling, I felt complete. Not arrogant, not vengeful, just accomplished and centered. Lisa at my side, we were a team. My empire, my life, my choices, everything aligned. During the dinner, a client raised a toast. To Alex Carter and his incredible team. Vision, leadership, and integrity. I raised my glass to Lisa, who met my eyes with a warm, approving smile. To us, I whispered. To us, she echoed. The night passed in discussions, laughter, and connection. At one point, I noticed Emma and Ryan sitting across the room, their faces tense. Ryan looked flustered, papers scattered, clients avoiding him. Emma's expression was a mixture of regret and disbelief. I didn't gloat. I didn't need to. The satisfaction was quiet, internal. Lessons learned the hard way, they were finally facing reality. And I had nothing to prove to anyone anymore. Later, on the balcony overlooking the city lights, Lisa and I stood side by side. Alex, she said softly, look at everything you've achieved. Not just wealth, but yourself. You've transformed completely. I exhaled, taking it in. I used to think revenge was about them, about showing Emma and Ryan I was better. But now I realize it was always about me. Proving my own worth, my own strength, my own ability to rise above. And you did, Lisa said, squeezing my hand. I nodded, smiling faintly. I did. And it feels right. Complete. As the clock neared midnight, I turned to Lisa with a small box in my hands. I have something for you. Not because of Valentine's, not because of the past, but because you've been part of everything I've built. She looked at me surprised. Alex. I opened it. Inside was a delicate bracelet, engraved with a simple phrase: strength, trust, growth. Lisa, I said, this is for us. For what we've built together. For the future we're going to create. Her eyes glistened and she smiled softly. Alex, it's perfect. I slipped it on her wrist. Perfect like this moment. Perfect like us. She leaned closer, voice barely above a whisper. I'm glad you've come this far, Alex. And I'm proud to be by your side. Me too, I said, feeling warmth spread through me. Not just power, not just wealth, not just achievement, but love, partnership, and closure. We stood there watching the city below, the lights reflecting our journey. From heartbreak to power, from betrayal to self-actualization, from loss to growth, we had arrived. Together. And for the first time in years I felt fully at peace. The world had tested me. People had tried to break me. Emma, Ryan, betrayal, rejection, they had all played their parts. But I had chosen myself, and in doing so, I had built something unshakable. Something that no one could take away. Lisa rested her head on my shoulder. Happy Valentine's, she whispered. Happy Valentine's, I replied. To new beginnings, to growth, and to us. And in that quiet moment, as the city lights shimmered around us, I realized that life, when taken into your own hands, can be more beautiful than revenge, more satisfying than validation, and more fulfilling than anyone could ever deny you. The past was behind me. The present was ours. And the future? That was limitless.